The newest Falcon and Winter Soldier episode dropped this past weekend, so it's time to get right into it. In this episode, Bucky and Sam take on Walker following his dark turn in episode 4. In comparison to episode 4, episode 5, titled Truth, is a much slower paced episode. Episode 4 was very contained. Everything took place in the same location, so in that way, the episode was exhilarating and fast paced, whereas this episode took its time with his characters. There were plenty of moments where our characters were just having conversations, and the action is far more limited in episode 5 compared to episode 4. The opening in episode 5 is easily the best part of this episode. It's where we see the epic showdown between Walker, Bucky, and Sam, and at one point I did think Walker was going to win this battle, but at the end he broke his arm, and we saw Bucky and Sam take the shield from him. He is, I guess, taken into custody by the two. The opening fight is about a sixth of the episode, and shortly after this we are introduced to Julia Louis-Dreyfus's character. Her character's name is Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, a character who is well known in the comics, but somebody who I don't know a single thing about yet, but I am very interested to see what happens to her character. It looks like she's going to help out John Walker in some way, and maybe that'll pave a path for John Walker and her character to team up and have their own series. I think people are saying that they're going to be a part of this bad guys organization or something like that. What about Carly Morgenthau in this episode? Well, she doesn't really do too much in this one compared to the last couple. She only appears in roughly 2 scenes, and pretty much her appearance in this one just sets up what she's going to do in episode 6. So yeah, you could probably just skip over most of Carly's scenes in this episode because all they're here to do is just set up the last episode of the series. Or I guess we could say season, because there could be a season 2, who knows. There is a powerful scene in this episode between Zemo and Bucky that I liked quite a lot. It appears that Bucky is going to kill Zemo. He holds a gun to his head, but the gun is empty. Bucky removed the bullets. He is then taken by the Dora Milaje to Wakanda. I suppose he's going to serve the rest of his life under their rule, and this is payback for killing T'Challa's father. It sucks that we're not going to see Zemo again in this season unless there's something crazy that happens in episode 6. I highly doubt he's going to appear again, so to see him go in episode 5 really hurts me. Sam also returns to Isaiah Bradley's house in this episode. Basically, their conversation here is just an in-depth retread of what we saw in episode 2. We get more details on Isaiah's backstory and what happened to him, but the main theme of this scene is that Isaiah doesn't believe that a black man will ever be Captain America, which is just a ludicrous thing to think. This guy is kind of a moron because it's obvious that Sam is going to be Captain America. Ever since Avengers Endgame, we all pretty much knew that he was going to be Captain America at some point, whether it was going to be in this show or later on. As far as the rest of Truth goes, most of this episode serves as a way to set up episode 6. We get a ton of walking and talking. That's a majority of what this episode is. There are scenes where Bucky and Sam are helping build Sam's parents' boat. They're repairing it. And that's really it for half of the scenes in episode 5. Yeah. It's very uneventful. But there is one quick intriguing scene in the episode thrown in here with Sharon. She's on the phone with George St. Pierre's character, who is clearly up to no good. So if these two are on the phone, either they're working together or Sharon is doing some other business. Maybe she's the power broker or she's working for the power broker. All I know is that Sharon is up to no good, and it's all based on this one scene. And another scene that I liked a lot was this very inspirational training montage with Sam. He's training with Captain America's shield, and this scene in particular gets me very excited to see him use the shield more and eventually transition into the next Captain America. During one of the episode's last scenes, we see Carly messing with the GRC, an organization that I still barely know anything about, frankly, but Carly is also up to no good. In this scene, we know that she's going to use them. I'm not really sure what it's going to look like in episode 6 with Carly and the Power Broker and her Flag Smashers organization, but it looks like it might end up being all chaos. And in the last shot of this episode, we see Sam opening up a suitcase. I'm assuming it's his new suit, or new wings for that matter. Maybe it's Captain America's suit. I don't really know which one it might be, but I'm assuming it's any of those. Finally, there is an end credit scene where we see John Walker rebuilding Captain America's shield. Even though Walker was stripped of his Captain America name after episode 4, he'll most likely pretend that he's still Captain America because he's really salty. And after everything that happened in episode 5, the way I see it going down in episode 6 is that it's going to be Bucky and Sam versus the Flag Smashers and everyone they're manipulating, as well as John Walker. It's probably going to be this huge battle with all these characters. Might be a tad bit of a mess, but I'm sure it's going to be really fun. If I had to rank episode 5 out of the 5 episodes we've been given so far, I would probably put this dead last, only because there's really no rewatchability in this episode except for a few scenes, but most of this episode is exactly as I said, a lot of walking and talking. And it mainly serves here as a way to build towards episode 6, the big grand finale of this season. But of course though guys, if you also happen to see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier episode 5 titled Truth, be sure to let me down below in the comment section what your thoughts are of it. Next up, for this season, I will be reviewing the entire season. I'm just going to include episode 6 in my review of the entirety of this season. It makes more sense to do it that way. And as always, guys, if you are new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.